This mic
Thomas would like to know.
Hey, we have live.
And we have audio. We take ourselves
No sound.
very seriously here at Out Reptiles. And this is the new Superdwarf show. The newly christened Superdwarf show. We have decided that it was about time we gave our usual Wednesday live streams. I'm sorry.
Like
Thomas wrote a script out for me. It's great. I'm super good at that. Let me run you through this. I got a new look here. It's pretty cool. He's been working really hard on it. I like it a lot. Hopefully you guys like it too. So we're going to give our new Wednesday live streams a facelift. We've been working on a lot of ideas behind the scenes on some just new ways to improve the channel moving forward so that we can give you guys top quality content that is educational and entertaining. We wanted to remind ourselves about the true purpose of what this channel was built on. And so that comes partly in the form of the Superdwarf Show by Out Reptiles. That's the name for all our Wednesday lives now? Thomas
I think
Here.
so.
He's got his
Yeah.
own audio.
No, that is now our... It's so weird to see myself now on this. But yeah, that's the name for our new show, I guess. It's
Bye,
the same
Rob.
show, new packaging. See you, Rob.
Better
Show, new
quality
packaging.
goofing around is what it is.
Yeah.
With that being said, my name is Garrett Hartle, and in the spirit of new beginnings, I wanted to kind of reintroduce myself on this channel. Today, we're going to go through a few stories, answer some questions, have an all-around good time. And the questions that we are answering is off of our community post from last week, right, Thomas?
Yes, community post, and if you're on Patreon, then we give you premier access. We give you slightly elevated priority question choosing. So
Patreon is pretty cool, I think.
yes.
I
Link
might be
in the
super
description.
biased, but I
It's
love
fun
it.
for us too.
Yeah.
It's fun on both ends.
It's
I
a,
feel like.
yeah, it's a great community. What's up, everybody? How's it going? All right. Yeah, Thomas had the new fancy mic up here, and it wasn't plugged in yet. So
It wasn't turned on. It turned
I was about to make really like a whole lot of fun of him because I was saying something like, "Oh yeah, and if it works," and he's like, "It's going to work," and I was like, "I can't wait until it doesn't." So, anyways, yeah, if we don't get to any of your guys' questions, I mean, all this stuff's going to be the same like we do here every Wednesday live. You can either super chat and interrupt us. I don't know, with the Superdwarf show, we don't do super chat dances anymore, do we?
Hold on. I gotta unmute myself so you can hear me in crispy high-res audio. Is this thing on?
We don't
Is
know.
it on? I don't know. Oh, it's muted still. We're still getting the kinks worked
I was
out.
just throwing that in there.
Alright,
See if I can get
alright.
rid of the super chat dances.
I am unmuted. Sorry if this blows your ears out. No, there's no way we're getting rid of super chat dances. Why would we do
Sure
that?
we are.
Why did you think that improves quality, or that seems like lowering the quality?
Yeah. It lowers the quality when I do a super chat dance.
No, you got it twisted. It's,
Oh, man.
the people are here. Hey, somebody who's feeling
We will
generous.
super chat
Super
dance
chat?
if you guys throw a super chat in. That's what we do. And then if you super chat us a question, we'll kind of stop everything as soon as we can and answer your question right out the gate. Otherwise, throw your questions for next week on that community post if you want to do it for free. But otherwise, it makes it a little bit tricky for us to comment, handle everybody's comments. Hannah Lily says, "Nice try." I just thought, everything looks so buttery and smooth and nice that I might be able to sneak in kind of a new policy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But if you guys have questions, the chats are a tough way to answer all of them. So make sure that, you throw those in those on the community posts at the end, and we'll get to them there. Because otherwise, I am looking at the camera lens and not, chats and all that kind of stuff. So we can grab a few of them. So going off that stuff, Thomas, what do we want to talk about today? What can you explain? What's this answering questions and telling tall tales? What's this all about?
All right. First off, apologies for the audio issues.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I didn't think about the fact there's two mics right next to
Thumbs
each
down
other.
if you don't want super chat dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Thumbs up if you do.
Who's more convincing, Garrett? It's a competition now.
Oh, man.
Is the man in front of the camera or behind the camera the one you're
So far, there's 10 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down.
Yeah,
so
people are
we'll
speaking.
see. I'm going to thumbs down it right now. Bam.
Shimpendo says I have a 22-foot Superdwarf.
Congratulations. You're feeding wrong.
You got scammed.
Yeah, you got scammed. You're feeding wrong. And we didn't sell it to you. Oh, how's it going, Chip? We were actually, or I was on Chip's show. You guys should go check it out. Chip, you should post the link in the comment section so people
Which
can
one
go.
is that?
They have a podcast that they do.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yep, him and Jampless. Jampless James
Very
Mitchell.
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, we get somebody posted 2 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down.
I love the UK too. All right, check it out. We're getting some thumbs down now, baby. So what's our first question for the Superdwarf show tonight, Tom?
First question before we get into obviously the title of today's video, which was a little like we'll acknowledge the fact that it's very clickbaity, but I did feel like Garrett has some interesting stories that may not have seen the light of day on YouTube. So I thought it'd be interesting to,
At least not recently.
no, not recently, and give people maybe a little insight into who Garrett was at one point in his life.
Woohoo! SoCal help super chatting in. I won't be there Saturday, Matt. I'm sorry. Brian is going to have to be there in my stead, so I am not going to the super show, is what he's referring to. It's tragic, but yeah, September, lots of stuff to do. Couldn't go to LA this time. Actually, this is the first one I've missed in quite a while. I'm super bummed. Definitely going into the next one, though, for sure. Jody says, pay not to have super chat dances. I don't know if I have that much energy. All right, so not clickbaity because I have too many crazy stories. If you haven't heard them already, then you can hear them tonight.
Yep, and we'll get into those in just a little bit. But first, we want to go through questions from our post on Patreon that we mentioned earlier, as well as the YouTube post.
Okay.
So we'll start going through those, and then if people throw out questions, I see you guys are throwing some questions in the chat. We'll get to those. We'll kind of pick them at random. We're just getting to what we can get, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Have a good time.
Cool.
All right. So let me make this bigger so I can read it. This is a very intellectual question. I
Okay.
want to start off strong. Aurora Exotics asked, how many retakes does it take to change a light bulb?
Man, probably just one. Honestly, have you guys ever had cages or seen people have cages where all they do is they put like a light socket, they screw it into the top of a cage, they put a light bulb in there. It's just a hanging light bulb. So I've seen a number of different retakes actually coil around, kind of climb on that thing, burn the dickens out of themselves, unscrew it, freeze to death in the winter, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with one. That's it. Better than most species in that joke.
All right. Thank you, Aurora, for that intellectual question. Thank you for being here. All right. Gina Ruck asked. Let me get this bigger again. Gina Ruck asked, "Do you have produced some amazing animals by crossing localities? Do you think mixing too many localities is a bad idea? And if so, how many localities do you think is too many in one snake?" And first off, this like one caveat or one thing I think is funny is it is kind of like asking how many sodas is too close to swamp water. Like, can you mix
like when you
Coke
go to the
with Dr.
restaurant,
Pepper?
you
But if you get too close to the Sprite, you're kind of getting a little freaky. I feel like that's the spirit of the question.
I feel like it doesn't start to go south until you start hitting the alternative, like fruit punch, those kinds of things.
That's when it gets weird.
Yeah. The funny thing is, a lot of, like when we refer to mainlands, that's a pretty weird term in itself, mainland, because there's a million different islands that those things come from. And when you see these different mutation combinations, a lot of them have tons of locality and all, everything came from some locality at some point, someday, way back when. So when you get these 4th, 5th gen things or people that are throwing out multi-gene combos and reticulated pythons, it's a huge blend of localities. So there are more that are like that than there are with specific amounts of fewer localities listed, I would think. And even if I have something here, let's say we have something that's 75% Calatoa, That means the other 25% is mainland. In that 25%, who knows how many localities there are? That could be a 7 or 8 locality mix. So I don't know. Here's the problem with it. I think long term is that it always seems amazing when someone brings in like a new locality and you're like, whoa, it looks so different from what I'm used to seeing. Because if you start to blend all the different localities together, they can still be good looking snakes, but they're kind of like, I always refer to them like white picket fence animals where, or like the cookie cutter neighborhoods, every house is the same. All the animals start to look the same and they lose the beauty of diversity and uniqueness, that we get from the pure localities. So I don't think you can go too far with it. I just think you have to be careful to preserve a specific look. So if you have, Slayer is a good example of a locality that we've had animals all the way down to, we've tracked the, parental histories and stuff, all the way down to like 6.25% Slayer. And you can, on some of the babies in those clutches, you can see a heavy Slayer influence that really makes them pop. So as long as you were preserving that look, and that's the look that you're going for, I don't know that there's like a too many. Some of the localities seem to clash a lot. You'll see there's a lot of ugly snakes in, obviously personal opinion, being sold as Kalatoas out there, and it's because they're locality crosses. Like Kalatoa and Coyote, I think when you put those two together, both of those localities look great on their own. But when you put them together, they're kind of like opposite but not complementary, if that makes sense. And so you end up with these just kind of like generic brownish looking Superdwarfs, and when you look back at wild caught stuff or you see on forums, people are like, oh man, look how beautiful they are. Or a lot of us old timers like, oh, do you remember when they used to be so gorgeous, bringing in these imports, and how come our captive bred ones never look like that? And it's probably because we're chasing morphs or, hoping that our animal is a such and such locality. We didn't really know and bred it in there or something, and kind of watering down those lines. So it's really good to see people going back to the pure locality thing and preserving that. So when you do morphs and stuff, I think as long as you preserve the looks in your crosses, you selectively breed for a certain thing, I don't think there's any number. It is going to get pretty ridiculous, trying to, because we list all our localities. We sent some out today that were, oh gosh, I think they were 37.5% Kalatoa, 25% Coyote, and 6.25% Slayer, or something crazy like that. So those labels are going to get longer and longer and mean less and less. And that's where you got that shift from science to art. You're going to want to buy from your breeder because they're a genetic artist. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's the way to go with it. But yeah. Someone said they're still having problems hearing you, Marilyn said, and Dude Man Guy said, make your ears better. Thank you, Dude Man Guy and Marilyn, for letting us know what's going on. The Swamp Water Retic, Gina calls it. A good bloodline name. White picket fence. Fences in the swamps. What do we got, Thomas?
So I'm going to mute you just for ease of this right now. I'm going to mute you and turn my mic on so people can hear me asking the question, and then just so that's how we're going to go moving forward.
You do your thing, man.
I'm just saying don't jump into it too quickly because we're not going to be ripped.
Okay, you can point at me.
All right. You are officially muted. Hold on, I'm a little low. Hello. There we go. All right. Our volume seems lower than normal, Jeremy Zook says. All right, so let's see. We had a question from Jacob. I'm going to butcher his last name, but Huser. He said, if you were going to design a house from scratch, what built-in features would you want for your reptile room, both display and racks?
Sorry, I was focusing so much on trying to lip sync what you were saying that I missed the question. Can we hold on, I'll find it right here. Where are we at?
It's the very second from the bottom, or very bottom.
All right, if I'm going to design a house from scratch, which built-in features do I want for my reptile room, display, and racks? Jacob, I am very happy to announce that I'm almost at the point where I can design a reptile room that's separate from a house and a house that's separate from a reptile room. That's pretty much the way that I would do it. It's just so much nicer not to have like compromised spaces. So the only thing that I would say is that I might do would be have like, it would be kind of cool to have like an access or a utility room behind a giant walk-in reptile enclosure. That would be a lot of fun to do. And in another life, I used to actually design a lot of custom enclosures. Probably one of my favorite ones was like, it was like an aquarium or paludarium where you had fish down below. They even had reptiles and birds up above. And what it had was like this big, I don't know, how much here? Can we see over here? I gotta find some chalk, I guess. But
that's a horrible noise.
And oh no, come on, you gotta love that noise. I didn't put my fingernails on it. Alright, let me show you what my favorite cage looked like. This was probably like 20 years ago. I built this for a guy out in Southern California. So, what we did was, in his room, he had kind of like an open floor plan, and we built an enclosure that was kind of like a peninsula thing, right? It stuck out like this, and so you could walk from one room to the next around it, meaning that you had viewing from both sides. Now, inside of that enclosure, I actually built, it was like a thin, really thin, narrow ledge. Now, this was huge. I don't remember the exact sizes, but I want to say that this was maybe, it came out probably like 12 feet, you know, and then it was maybe 6 feet here, and then floor to height ceiling. So it had this jungly ledge that was all live planted, and then it had water up to a certain level of it, and that water kind of went around the edge. And so he had the fish and everything underneath. We had some vines and climbing things. He had like real plants and trees growing over fake stuff and everything. So it was actually like a, you know, super complex multi-species tank. And then it just came straight out of the wall. So the wall was like this, you know, running through there. And it had a door that you could open up and get at, you know, from the far side, and you could access this thing. And it was wide enough that you could actually walk through the water around it. It was pretty stinking cool. So I don't know. I love those kind of big built-ins. But if I was going to try to do the reptiles in my house, I definitely wouldn't do the breeder thing. I wouldn't do the, let me have 30 of these in space-efficient cages. I would do something like this. One beautiful, large, I mean, think about it. A lot of us have snakes that are worth $500, $1,000, and then we got 20 of them. You know, so if you want to do the math, if you're talking $10,000 to $20,000 that you could spend, if it's something in your house, wouldn't it be cooler to have like a $20,000 custom reptile enclosure? I think that would be amazing with one reptile in it. And I don't know, weird fantasy of mine, I would go out and rescue an animal that other people didn't appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like so many, like a mainland retic with scars on its face from pushing or something like that. You know, something that nobody really wants anymore, and just be like, I have chosen you to love on, and you get the coolest cage I can possibly think of now. Because there's no money involved or anything like that. It's purely for personal enjoyment.
It's like, that's what I would do. Spoiling your grandkids.
Yeah, except you don't get to pick them.
Oh man, so even better than spoiling your grandkids.
Exactly. All right,
so going from houses and custom enclosures, there's a story I remember you telling me about one time where you jumped into an enclosure that was not privately owned. It was actually owned by the government or a large organization.
Are you talking about Singapore?
I believe it was Singapore. It involved crocodiles.
Yeah. I remember this. There's actually footage of this online somewhere. Yeah, so fun story. One of the times I got kicked out of Indonesia for overstaying my visa, I got booted to Singapore, which is very expensive when you're like a young man not working, traveling on a savings and stuff like that. Beautiful country, though, if you've never been to Singapore. It's like a little city-state. A really amazing place. Crazy jungles, cool parks and stuff, and it's super westernized. So you get this blend of East meets West. That's pretty cool. But anyway, I was there and I was stuck for 3 weeks, so I was just finding stuff to do. And at the time, they had, I believe it's actually closed down now, but they had a reptile park. And so I went in to go check it out. And one of the things that they had there was a pit full of iguanas, big green iguanas. And there was an Australian, this part I failed to mention. When I got to the park, no one was there to like take my ticket or let me in. I didn't see anyone who worked there the whole time. It was like, is this place deserted or what? And I'm sure the guy was just out doing stuff or whatever. But so I was just kind of like, hello, and walked in, and I figured I guess I'll get caught. But I mean, I'm trying to pay my ticket. I'll pay my ticket when somebody finds me. So I'm in there, and I'm hanging out with these iguanas, and they had like a little help yourself station. You could feed them lettuce and stuff. And this Australian couple was just absolutely loving it because there's like 30 big iguanas, probably 4 foot, you know, just big impressive lizards that they never get to see. And I was laughing with them about how that is such a, you know, kind of like a cheap, underappreciated species in the U.S. And I said, no, you know what I really wish I could do, this big go in and handle it thing, is jump in that cage over there. And there was a cage, it was like kind of a pit, and it was full of crocodiles, a bunch of different species. So they had all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And some of them were huge. And then we walked over and we were checking it out. And then we actually went and, oh cool, so someone's getting their sun tiger tomorrow. That's pretty sweet. We shipped a lot of snakes out today. So I walk over there and I see this big like wad of keys on a keychain stuck in the gate. And I said, hold on a second. And I gave my camera to the Australian couple and I was like, I do want to go in and pet these crocodiles. Years later, I saw a shirt that kind of encapsulated the moment that said, you know, any zoo is a petting zoo if you've got the cojones for it, right? So before I had seen that shirt, that's kind of what decided I was going to do in that moment. And so I jumped inside. I pet a couple of crocodiles. Yeah, it was my first time messing with, I'd had an American alligator previously, but boy, I'll tell you, those saltwater crocodiles are something else. And so there was probably like a 12 to maybe 13, 14 foot female salty. I'm pretty sure it was a female. These things were toads. Anyways, I went up and I pet her on the leg and she spun around and I was literally like inside of her mouth. I remember like looking up at teeth, looking down at teeth, and I'd been petting her leg and it happened so fast. She made 2 passes at me like this within a quarter of a second. I know that because I could play the tape back later and see it. But as she's coming through, it was like everything was slow motion. You get that crazy adrenaline rush. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, now I've learned from like the alligator wrestlers and stuff that when they've got their mouth there, like they may not necessarily know you're inside it unless you touch the top or the bottom. In fact, you can see that on that video that went viral lately. The gal, you know, was pushing up on the snake. Her hand slips and she taps it on the top of the mouth right there. And that's what triggered it to snap down. So I'm like, as long as I don't touch anything, I should be fine. And this girl's like swinging past me with these monster teeth. And I'm like just moving. My hand was still fully extended. I didn't even have enough time to pull it back. But I was just moving it like this much or this much to try to get past her teeth as she went by. And then she came back for a second pass. And I jumped up. There was a little wall behind me. It was like maybe 2 feet high or something. And I jumped over it. And my heels were like kicking her bottom jaw as she was coming forward for another bite. So that was pretty crazy. And then, of course, I had to pet a couple more because you got to jump back on that horse when you fall off or you'll be scared forever. You don't want to be scared of Nile crocodiles. That would be completely debilitating in life. Or, I guess, saltwater crocodiles. So I pet a couple more, hopped out. And the funniest part to me was this. When I went back to Indonesia, I showed the video to some of like my American friends and then some Indonesian friends. And the consensus was that I was, of course, stupid and crazy. But I always thought it was funny, like all the Westerners were like, you were so crazy, you could have been killed. And all of the Indonesians were like, man, you were so crazy, you let a stranger hold your camera? You know, it was just funny, I like the different perspectives on why Garrett was crazy. So that was a pretty good one. But yeah. Dude Man Guy says, I'm the dad of the kid in school who always lied about who their dad was. Apparently so.
I think
Yeah.
your kids are probably pretty proud.
The funny thing was, most of my stories, everyone's like, "You're full of it. That didn't happen." But then a bunch of them I have film for or scars from and stuff like that. So yeah, and they're like, "Oh, I'd show people like the crocodile one. They're like, that story's not true," and I'd show them the video, which is online if you are good at searching for it. And I think it's up on Prehistoric Pets channel from whenever I worked there. But
I can confirm this video exists. I have seen it.
yeah,
It's burned into my mind. It's
Right.
one of those moments where I realized that Garrett wasn't lying.
yeah, that's what everyone's like. Okay, you're telling the truth about that one, but the rest of your stuff is super.
Super chat.
Super chat. What's up, Chris? How's it going, man?
We need to get music. We can now get like copyright free music.
Okay,
And we can
we'll do
just
it.
Blast the
And you can
eardrums
blast
out.
music at me, and I'll come up with
You
a dance
probably
on
won't
the
hear
spot.
It. You probably won't hear it.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, that
everybody
doesn't
else will
help me.
hear it. It'll be good. I could hit you with anything. It could be like
Chris
Hindu
says,
music or
"Where's the video?" I know that Brian Cusco did an interview of me. I think it was on his Triple B channel. It might have been his vlog channel, and he played a short bit of it. But a longer piece of it is on Prehistoric Pets. It's a super old video, so it's pretty hard to search. Well, go look in our playlist. I think I actually tagged it in old videos. If you guys don't use playlists on our channel, you're missing out. So go look up. I think there's a playlist just called Old, and it's on there. You can link it up. It's got a long chunk of it for those of you guys that want to see me. You'll think it was Thomas because I had the same hair that he did at the time. So yeah, I moved to the jungle and stopped
you had
cutting my
dark
hair
hair,
for a
though,
while.
didn't you?
Yeah, it was a little
Where's
darker
that
than
picture?
yours.
Where's your do you have that picture in your wallet? Can you pull it out for the masses?
Oh
Picture of
man,
and
you don't want to
Ashley?
see that one.
I want everybody to see that.
Oh man, let's see if it's in here. Okay, there it is. Prom.
Oh baby.
There you go.
See me, you had
My
dark
hair was about
You had-
twice that long whenever I was in Indonesia, but yeah. Look how cute we were. Truth of the story is I put that tuxedo in on a 45-minute drive down the 2 highway in California. It's like this mountain road because I was late, of course. So. Okay. Ashley says, no! Sorry, babe. Thomas made me do it. I
Super chat.
didn't know you would watch these things. Woohoo!
Super chat
What's
from
up?
Ryan Jones. Gave us a Canadian $2.79.
What's up, Ryan?
That's probably like it's like $1.40 American.
How can Canadians get a Superdwarf? Are there any good breeders? To be perfectly honest with you, there's some stuff from me up in Canada. I don't really know the breeders up there well enough to kind of either say like, oh, this is a really good breeder or that is a really good breeder. I know that back in the day there was a guy named Pro Reptiles that was really involved in Superdwarfs. A lot of the old school line Superdwarf stuff, even that we have, was bred by him, but I don't think he does them anymore. So we definitely do ship. It's kind of funny we're sitting on a CITES thing now, but what you need to do is get hold of Reptiles Express and ask them to import animals from us. Now, they'll go through the permits and all that stuff. You got to prepay it in advance. This is what people don't really realize. If you're just doing a custom export, you're probably talking about close to $1,000, and that can vary from $500 to $2,500, but it's usually around $1,000 of extra cost just to get the animals there. Even though most people that are buying from us in Canada are about a 4-hour drive from us, you know. But obviously, you can't drive them like that. You got to go to Reptiles Express. They'll have me ship it to a U.S. Fish and Wildlife hub here in the U.S. where it gets inspected and then gets shipped up to Canada. So it's possible. You got to get a hold of them, prepay everything in advance. And this is the wrong time of year to do it because it takes a couple of months. So by the time you have the permits and you're ready to ship, it was probably going to be too cold. So what you want to do is get on that early in the year so you can get them early summer. We've been thinking about, I don't know if there's enough demand for this or what, but we've been thinking about potentially putting together like a once or twice a year shipment to Canada where we would take on a bunch of customers, put a whole bunch, because it's the same price if you ship 75 snakes or 7 snakes. So we would put a bunch together, divide the cost, and it probably ends up costing about as much as shipping from the U.S. to do it that way. That's what a lot of the ball python guys do and stuff like that. So Cody Shepard's in the house. Cody's getting one of my girls now. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would just watch some of the videos we do about how to buy Superdwarfs, make sure they can give you an accounting for the generations, different histories and stuff that you have. I know that there's a huge problem with misrepresented ones in Canada, like crazy. Probably maybe some of the most ludicrous misrepresentations globally happen up there in Canada. But what's up? Why are we...
Do you want to talk about misrepresentation?
Misrepresentation?
Yeah, in the context of something you recently purchased on Amazon.
No, I don't want to talk about that with everybody. All right, I'll talk about that if you can be technologically cool enough to like play a video of what that was supposed to be that I bought on the internet.
I might be able to. I'll grab a photo of it.
He's not good enough.
No, because we might get copyright claim for playing other people's media.
It's super cool.
I'll find it. I'll screenshot it and throw it up in there.
Someone wants to know if I still work with mainlands. I keep a few mainlands, but I don't breed them for the public or anything like that. I like a lot of the you know, at this point it's only localities. You know, I've got the Halmheras, the Sulawesi's, stuff like that, you know. Those kinds of snakes that are outside of the dwarf and Superdwarf realm, but I just still like them. So we actually have quite a few. I've got Cerams, I've got, you know, Bhutan, I've got, yeah. So, but not really, you know, like just because an animal is a known locality and stuff like that doesn't necessarily mean that there's enough of a market or a demand for those animals. So I kind of keep groups of them just so that they don't really like go extinct in captivity. But honestly, when you get those, no matter how cool those snakes are, when you get a big clutch of them, usually sell about half, and then the rest take a really long time to sell and get passed around. And so I'm hoping that that changes. I know there are some people that are working with it. Well, you know, oh, I almost said it on live again. If you know who you're talking about, almost spoiled your surprises. But I have some friends that are starting to do some pure locality projects and things like that, and bring it back around for those who are interested in having big snakes, you know. So it should be pretty cool. But yeah.
I found a picture. It's got some weird blue stuff on it, but I'm gonna pop this up. Hold on.
All right, Thomas wants to show you what I bought. So I thought it would be super cool to buy. What was the name of it, Thomas? It was like a
4-cylinder replica.
No. The one that I bought was like it was like a metal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a 4-cylinder
metal die-cast engine assembly kit. And they show this cool video. You guys have probably seen them or whatever. If not, you can do a quick YouTube search. You get this kit with all these metal parts and you can build an engine. Well, my son Garrison is like a whiz with assembling things. He's like Lego extraordinaire, like most boys his age. So I thought, you know, get off the plastic Legos. I mean, I love the creativity and stuff that he does, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool if he learned how internal combustion engine works so that it could be completely obsolete by the time he's 16. So I bought this thing that was supposed to be like a working metal engine. They show the thing running, all this kind of stuff that you put it together, and we got in a box, because of misrepresentation, this beautiful thing. This seems to be like a putty cast of the actual metal engine that they showed in the video. There are literal like hot glue strings where they broke it and put it back together. The paint job is amazing. Like, look at that cool paint. They almost painted all the corners of this bolt silver. They did manage to put a rubber band on some of these pulleys, and I don't know. I mean, they couldn't even paint the black. They couldn't stay in the lines painting the black lines. I mean, this looks like if I had given Garrison a block of wood, a pocket knife, and some paint, he could come up with this. But somebody sold this to me on the internet, and I bought it. Much to the thrill of my wife and Thomas, who enjoy when I do
Patreon,
something
if you're on
stupid.
Patreon, you're going to see the unboxing reaction. Here, I'm going to pop this
You
up.
guys are putting that up on Patreon?
Oh, for sure, man.
Oh
we
my
wouldn't miss
gosh.
an opportunity like that. All right, man.
Apparently Patreon is a place where everyone just likes to make fun of me.
All right, so do you want to hold that up again? We're going to show the people.
All right.
Hold on. Position. Sorry.
Technical
Sorry, guys.
difficulties.
We're still getting better at this. There's a good chunk of you describing it. Yeah, you need to learn to do interpretive dances. I like how there's a 20-second delay, so we're just now realizing it as everybody's yelling it in the we're working with what we got, guys.
Okay, what are we working on?
Thomas said this will work. Alright, man, you got your voice. You can say things.
I've got my voice. I can say things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been like that for the last 20 seconds.
Sound is back. No audio. Sound is back. Okay. Yeah, we have a 20-second delay, so you can yell at us for about 20 seconds before we start to feel bad about ourselves. Thomas, this will work.
I didn't guarantee which part.
All right, next question, please.
Next question.
Will I be at the Reptile Super Show, Anaheim, this weekend? No, Starry status 304. That is not going to happen. Watching asks, will I be at Rexpo in Rochester, New York? It's just over 4 hours from Pittsburgh. That would be fun to attend, but New York State has reticks that are illegal. So unless they rename Superdwarfs as their own species, you can't get Superdwarfs in New York at all. Lavertia wants to know, what is my favorite takeout food? It's Thai. It's Thai, and I like the stuff that nobody else likes, like spicy basil eggplant with tofu or something like that. I love Thai food. If I could find a good Indonesian food restaurant, that's probably why I like Thai food. Somewhat similar to the food that I ate there that I always end up missing.
All right, next question. I'm
Bring it.
on mute for a sec. Oh, there we go. Okay. So Scott on YouTube said, started following you guys after seeing you on Snake Discovery, and I'm finding those Superdwarfs fascinating. It seems like this is still a pretty niche segment of the reptile hobby. Besides purchasing from you, how would one go about finding legit breeders to avoid ending up with a 15-foot snake?
So Scott, we actually do have a couple of videos on who not to buy from. My first question is always like, people are like, oh, I love your videos. I'm super interested. Your animals seem awesome. Can I buy one from someone else so that I don't get one of your awesome ones and still make sure it's awesome? Maybe that's just the way that I hear the questions, but we have animals that are actually available and for sale in the other room. Do you have the other camera up on the other room?
I can get it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's okay if you don't have it going. It's sitting over there.
Jeez, man.
Can't take you in the room. Let me go pull a snake, Thomas. Come over here.
Somebody.
Somebody please throw us a super chat dance so that Thomas has to dance for you.
Oh no,
while
this
I
is a
pull
setup.
couple of cool snakes.
This is a setup. I feel powerless because I can't see my screen anymore. Hello, April. First scene from Tennessee. Someone says, ever look into Lego robotics programs for your kids? Great for building mechanical kids. I think you meant kids.
I would definitely love to build a mechanical kid.
Cassandra Pub, you gotta send a
Mechanical
super
kids would
chat,
be
and we're
awesome.
20 seconds behind, so if
There
I
you go.
move, Garrett's gonna be the one that gets it.
You can stay here. Just
I
stay
can
right
bring my
here
chair-
for a
I'll
minute.
bring my chair.
All right. I just pulled one of the pretty looking ones, but this is some of the stuff that's like, why is this still here? Let me see if I can figure out his price. Maybe it's the price. We'll see. People always say we're expensive on the Superdwarfs. The truth of the matter is we don't advertise our prices online, and if you go like on Morph Market, you can find stuff lower percentage at way higher prices than ours are. So if you have something you're looking for, let us know. So I actually have like a lavender snow motley that's in there. He's gorgeous. He's like $6,000. This is his brother. He's albino posset annery. He's platinum motley lavender albino posset snow. He's $2,000. So that's a super high end animal. Lots of dwarf and super dwarf. Let me see. This guy, this particular one is 31.25% calato and 25% jam. So that would be technically listed as a dwarf. One of the things for you were asking how to get quality stuff. If you see somebody with like less than 50%, that's the minimum quality standard to call something a dwarf or a super dwarf. So if they have less than 50%, why are they?
There's no super.
Why are they doing it? You know what I mean? Oh, you guys let them get away. And I mean, I think I can tell you why they're doing it. They're doing it because they have a bunch of mainlands in their collection. They bought a little super dwarf. They didn't want to really invest. They just run their bunch of, one little super dwarf to a bunch of those mainland females and crank them out, call them super dwarf at low percent, at pretty morphs. And a lot of times they charge more money. I actually had a guy that bought a couple less than 50%, just straight lavenders from somebody for $2,000. That's the price of this guy. And this guy's a high percentage, would be a high percentage dwarf. A lot of it is super dwarf that's in him. So this is going to be an 8-foot snake, give or take, for $2,000 at the same price with like 3 more genes, and a lot more locality than the stuff that you're typically finding in classifieds, So super dwarfs are trending right now. A lot of people are figuring it out. They're one of the only species that the price has gone up consistently every year for like the past 3, 4, 5 years because breeders are stocking up on them. And because they realize that they are a great pet snake for so many people. So I think people are getting in on that, and it takes a while to do it the right way. So there's always going to be somebody who wants to, that's always like, oh, I don't know why you want a super dwarf, get a real man snake, a mainland. And then they go, oh gosh, super dwarves are actually really high demand. I think there's only so many times someone can come to a reptile show and ask you, but do you have a super dwarf? And you have to say no, that you are tempted to label something a super dwarf or do what you can to get them in there. So that's what you want to watch for. If somebody's really passionate about super dwarves, they love the, it's not correct to call it a breed, but they love the locality stuff on those super dwarf islands. And, they do all kinds of stuff with super dwarf. That's the person you want to buy from. There's not a lot of them out there. So, but I mean, honestly, we would love to have anybody that's looking into super dwarfs. We want these. They're such good pets. You know what I mean? We want them out there. We want you to have a great time with it. As you can tell, the temperament's awesome because we work with ours a lot. The colors are great. We try to have good customer service. I don't think there's any bad reviews of us anywhere. So
I'm gonna go write a bad review right now.
Do it. Thumbs down if you want no more super chat dances. We only got 3. Oh no, there's 48 thumbs up for continuing doing super chat dances in the future. You guys are killing me, guys. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It was a Scott that was asking.
Yep.
Hit us up first. We have stuff available all the time. We do maintain waiting lists. Maybe that confuses people. that we have waiting lists for stuff, but it's because certain animals, like for example, our pure Calatoas, we try very hard to make sure that those are always legitimate pure Calatoas. We've discounted a lot of other people stuff that they're breeding, selling as Calatoas, that they're not, meeting the mark to be a part of our breeding programs because there's questions about them or whatever. So stuff like that, we've got a long waiting list on. We'd love to get you guys pure Calatoas if you want them. We try to price them. Ours are usually priced below everyone else that's doing them on the market, but like all the other Superdwarf crosses, they're they're going up every year in cost. So we still typically have the lowest pricing on legit ones that are out there. But a lot, if you're just looking like, hey man, I love Superdwarfs, I'd love to get into it, maybe get a little female to raise up as a breeder, or a male for a first time pet, we have a lot of that stuff. We have a lot of that stuff right now in stock. Thomas, how many boxes did we ship out today? I literally sent a message to Clint from Clint's Reptiles saying, hey, thanks, man, for shouting us out, because we shipped a handful of boxes from the response that we got from his video on Superdwarfs. I think we had 17 boxes, and several of them had multiple snakes in them that went out today. So pretty crazy shipping day. That was, just one day's worth of shipping them out. So we got lots of snakes. We still have over 100 in stock. So,
BG in the chat is interested
Ashley
in having a
says 17.
Superdwarf. I call and call. How do I get you on the phone, bud?
Call, and how do you get me on the phone? If you're calling me on the phone, you're gonna be subject to me picking up whenever I'm able to, and I tend to keep myself fairly busy. Especially if you call nights and weekends, I don't pick up on nights and weekends. Someone's calling right now. Is it probably you? I could be live streaming. If you're from Missouri, then I can't pick up right now because I'm live streaming. Can't pick up this morning because I'm shipping 17 snakes. Couldn't pick up last weekend because I was in Phoenix. But if you email, we sit down and answer all those emails. So that's info@reachoutreptiles.com. Can you put that in the chat real quick? If you guys want to know,
I put it up in there every once in a while when people ask.
That's the best way to do it. You can ask us on our availability, prices, any of that kind of stuff. And we have a whole team of people that answer that constantly and make sure you guys get taken care of. And, if you're worried about like the personal touch, I end up talking with almost everybody that buys snakes. We have little letters and notes. I spent all morning handwriting letters to customers for those 17 boxes. So you got to do it. Bob Evans says he goes to the Steel City Reptile Expo and corners us. One of those are coming up here pretty soon, I think. September 18th, it looks like. So, yeah, you can come see me at a show. But, if you're trying to get one of our animals, the team here, these guys are great. They'll talk to you and be able to get you the stuff, even if I'm out of town or on the phone with a bank these days or trying to make payroll or any of those other things that the boring stuff that business owners do. All my employees get to do the fun parts like talk shop and figure out new ways to live stream. Right, Thomas?
I figured out the new ways to live stream.
That's what I said. What's up, Ronnie?
Oh, I didn't hear the full context.
Would it be, is somebody from Missouri actually called me right now? How's it going? Super chat, Ronnie. No text, though. What's up, Ronnie? What do you need to know? All right.
For the next 30 seconds, Ronnie, you have premium chat. And,
chatability?
Yes.
Let me know what's up.
If someone wants to know what the lowest price you have in stock is.
In stock right now? I don't know. You might, probably first thing to do is ask like how big they get. So the cheaper stuff gets bigger. So I'd have to take a look. I know that we have some stuff like at the $600 range right now that are, good small bloodlines and stuff like that. But price is not probably the best way to shop for these, because the whole point I would assume in getting a dwarf or a Superdwarf retic is to make sure that it fits you better, and being that you can put that label on something from the size of a bull snake all the way up to the largest snake on the planet, probably don't shop by price. So Ronnie's asking if we still have 210394 and 210337. Guys, what he's asking about is our website has, if you go on reachoutreptiles.com, you can see breeding stuff for all of the different stuff that we have in stock. I have to pull up a thing right here. This is kind of interesting, the availability ones here. Hold on, I gotta search for the number.
Bob Evans says size matters.
It does matter. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, part of what we're trying to do is make sure that we have a snake that fits everybody. The last thing I want to do is produce, and I'm in love with this dude, but I said he's gonna get about 8 feet. I'd say 7 to 9. And if you're like, well, I can't have anything that would be 7 feet long, that's almost as big as a ball python by weight, or maybe the size of a medium ball python by weight. And if you want something much smaller than that, and you buy this guy, not that they get a whole lot smaller than that, some of the pures do, but you end up buying this guy, then I don't want him to end up in a rescue somewhere, or not be in an appropriate cage, or be appropriately fed for his whole life, all that kind of stuff.
So Ronnie Bankston, did you see his chat? He requested, he's the person we gave premium premium chatability to.
All right.
He asked, do you still have 210394 and 210337?
Way ahead of you. 394 is a purple head anery. Nope, that one is sold. That's a purple het for anery. I do believe I have some purple head aneries. And 337, right? 337 is a purple posset anery. That one is sold as well. Yeah, that's too bad. Those are two different clutches as well. But we definitely still have some albinos in stock. For those of you guys who are wondering, like dwarf albinos with a bunch of Superdwarf in them. I think we have a couple of lavs around 800. So, but definitely the best way, guys, instead of trying to join us on a live chat. And I love it. I appreciate the question. And it's a great opportunity to show, those are our breeding records, so the people who have those animals will always have a reference on their breeder's website. And there's my snake's baby picture. But that's everything that we've produced for the year. So, what you want to do is shoot us an email, let us know what you're looking for, and we can find those things for you. So, we also have stuff coming up too, and that's another thing that you can find out about. Like, for example, if you're looking for purple albinos and stuff like that, then, we've got, besides what we have in stock, clutches that are incubating or being laid now. And we can let you know all that stuff if you want to shoot an email, info@reachoutreptiles. So, oh, Ashley's jumping in there, man.
I know. I've made her a moderator so she can go in and
look at that.
Kick people if she wants. She has a lot of power.
People getting their merch off the website. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, well, what things that we might ask you in an email, something that you want to have ready is well, what kind of do you want the snake for? Is this just a pet? Would you like to breed it someday? Because that makes a difference in what would be a good fit. What kind of size range are you looking for? And then what kind of price range are you looking for? Because, I've got this guy's brother, the Snow Motley, for $6,000, and he might be the right size, or he might be whatever. But if you're like, no, that's an extra zero for me, man. 600 is a lot for a Superdwarf for me. Then there's no reason for you to browse those things, or us to, be talking about animals that are, they're there for you. They're on our Instagram. They're on our website. If you want to do some window shopping and drool all over them, by all means. But there's no reason for us to try to place one with you if that's going to be out of the question. So we like to try to find out what the best fit is. And very few of our animals are resold compared to other people because of that. And that's why even in all these years of business, we've never posted a classified ad. I'm not against it. I just have never needed to. All right.
All right. Well, okay, we're getting towards the end of our time here. But the last thing we do... let me unmute myself so it sounds a little bit clearer.
Balrog is asking, would I advise someone who's terrified of snakes but super interested to get one as a pet? Yeah, I would, but I would start with something super easy and mellow. Maybe like a sand boa or, any of those kind of colubrids. Start with something super chill and just get to know them that way.
All right, so this is the part of the show. It's the last thing we do on these live streams.
and we take an animal in our collection shop back in the good old snake room, and we name it based on your suggestions in the chat. So if you want to go ahead,
Did we get the names out from last week?
we are going to do that immediately following this.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, we pick names at random, and how many are we going to do today? Do you want to go find one?
Yeah, okay, I'll pull one out. All right, hold on. You're going to have to come over here, Tom.
Yep.
Hold on. We'll give you the Thomas show for a minute. Tell us how it
Oh
works.
boy. Tell us how it works.
No, you tell us how it works.
Tell us how. Yeah, but what exactly? Oh,
The naming.
the naming. I just did.
Oh, all right.
They yeah, you guys are gonna. We're gonna take a look at the snake on this beautiful high definition camera. May or may not be my camera, but anyway, shameless plug there. Thomas, name it Ryan. That seems a little self-serving, because your name is also Ryan.
All right. Here's a fun beginner snake, non-retic related, but we like to name the ones that are going to be around for a while. So this girl is actually a
Here, let me
Cape
hold the
House
camera.
snake. Good. This is a Cape House snake. This one's a T-positive sun glow. So it's an albino hypo. Doesn't have any of that KZN locality that I love in it. But I like this combo and I want to add the reds. So this is a female. She's 3 years old. Coming up to breeding size. Cute little booger, isn't she? They're very python-like. So what should we name this girl? Are you able to see comments?
Yes.
Go ahead. I know that we have a little bit of a delay.
Down.
So what? All you got to do is text in your idea
Right in the
for
middle
what
of
we
the
should
frame.
name.
Pull her back a little bit. Oh, that's risky.
Tell us what you should name this girl. We'll pick one out of the chat.
All
I
right.
see names going off.
Okay, we got. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm trusting you.
Are you?
No. All right, we got Aries, Tangerine, Gloria, Valen, Bethany, Pebbles again, Rios, Matilda, Opal, Butterscotch. Name it Ryan for my late grandpa. Oh, I feel terrible about what I said earlier, which is also mine. Coral, Cooper, Sunshine, Hazel, Saffron.
kinda like
Thomas,
Saffron.
Sunny, Marmalade, Dahlia, Lotus. You like
Are you
Saffron?
laughing at Saffron.
I was laughing at Thomas because it was Andrew Acevedo. What's up, Andrew? Lotus, Tumbleweed. Are we going with Saffron?
I think we're
What
doing
is
Saffron.
What is Saffron?
This snake's name. That's Saffron. Okay, so we'll get her name on there, and then what we do is if you guys shoot us an email, say, hey, I named Saffron on the live feed. I'll send you a picture of just me holding her, and we'll email you over a picture of her just for you guys to remember that you named that snake. And if you ever come visit, you can say that one was me. All right. Andrew, you're going to have to try a little bit harder if you want to name one, buddy.
Here, one sec.
I want to name it Thomas.
Say that again.
Andrew, you're going to have to try a little bit harder if you want to name one than Thomas. You're like my kids where I say, I'm thinking of something, and they look around the room and call out the first thing they see. All right, this one's Saffron. Let's grab another.
All right, we got Saffron. If you're just joining us, guys, this is the part where we name snakes. We do that every live stream every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. We take a couple snakes. You shout out names. I shout out the names randomly without saying who said it, and then Garrett picks one. It's pretty simple.
Do you know who named that one? Who was it that named
Saffron. I'm trying to see if someone said it earlier, because I want to make sure we get credit. Midnight Musings.
Okay, cool. Nicely done.
All right, Midnight Musings. Go ahead and shoot us an email at info@reachreptiles.com.
Let us know that you named Saffron.
Yes, and you can shout out your Instagram on there too, because we're in the works of how we're gonna do this. But if you want, we can
We'll do a little
shout you
story.
out on the story, and then give you some credit, send you a picture. It's a good time.
Okay.
Who's
here
the next
she is.
contender?
Ooh, hold on. I was going to make her
man.
kiss you. You turned it away just in
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry.
All right, this one's pretty cool. So this is 75% Jampea, Anery, and she was from a parthenogenic clutch. She's got the weirdest pattern. She's a super dark charcoaly Anery. You can see that greenish bronze kind of a... I don't know, are you able to see that? Wicked tail pattern. Very greenish bronze coloration. So we need to name this girl. She's been around here 2 years, never got a name, poor thing. And she's like one of the coolest snakes ever.
All right, hold her up. I'm gonna start reading names.
Parthenogenic means that she had no father. Her mother laid a fertile clutch
She's an
without the aid of a male.
All right. Let's see.
What do we got?
So, let's start from.
Like green, gold, and gray.
We're spin out a lot. Okay, we got Lotus, Tumbleweed, Dandelion, Heather, Popcorn, Corona, Dandy, Dinkle, or Dinky, Ginger, Rona,
Rona.
Keystone, Tungsten, Queenie, Sable, John Gray or Jean Gray, Kalani with an H, Stella, Shoelace, Patches, Mimic, Ditto, Diana, Liddy, Olive, Maleficent, Cloney, Gorgon, Freya, Nebula, Lilith, Auralia, Amazonia, Ribbons. Name her Athens because of the Parthenon. In all caps.
Parthenogenesis.
Diamond for the side markings. Madeline. Or Madeline.
Okay, I like it. Athens works. We're going with Athens.
I was partial to Mimic. I don't know why. That's a nice name.
That is a nice name. Someone can try it next week.
Yes. Probably won't remember it.
Athens.
All right, we got
I
Athens.
feel like it should be Athena, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll call her Athens.
That was Ryan Jones. Good job, Ryan. You won.
Ryan, shoot us an email. Put your Instagram handle on there. We'll throw up a little story how you named her. All right, folks.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this show. If you are a Breeder Tier Patreon member, you know who you are. We will see you in just a moment.
Everybody, before the video stream ends, make sure you give a thumbs up for all of Thomas and his great production quality, except for all of the glitches and issues that he
We'll
had
give
during
one
this
hat
show.
Forehead reveal.
One hat reveal. All right, folks. Hey,